Hello, my name is Peter Phelps of Phelps 3D, and in this tutorial I want to cover a couple of different methods that we use to model in FreeCAD. Now, this time the object I'm choosing is not going to be something that you're probably going to 3D print, because you'll probably run out to the hardware store and just buy one. But what I'm going to use today for my example object is a small angle bracket like you would use for a shelf or some other project, just to reinforce something. So this is what we're going to be modeling, and what I'm going to contrast is how to do it in part versus how to do it in part design. We're going to start off in parts, and we're going to create a cube, and I'm going to switch to the 3D view. And what I want to do is create a cube that is 19 millimeters by 19 millimeters on both the height and the length. And the width will be 12.5 millimeters. Now, you're probably going to wonder why I am not going to just create two cubes and then attach them together for the bar parts. The reason for that is that we're going to be trying to create a fillet in both parts of the corner. If you had two different parts, the fillet would then be limited to the height of the bar piece itself, which would not work out very well. And the bar piece is, let's see, 1.5 millimeters. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy that cube. Control C, Control V. We're going to take this and we are going to move it up 1.5, and then we're going to move it forward 1.5. It's not 10.5, 1.5. And what we're going to do is we're going to click the first one, then select the second one, and we're going to cut. So that creates our angled back. Now, with FreeCAD, you don't want to try to do the fillets until after you've finished any of your cuts. So we're going to wait until then to do that. Now, to create the holes, I would suggest using a cone. This way we have control of both the size of the hole, the small part, and the actual chamfer area. We can actually sit there and measure that the bottom hole is 4.5 millimeters in diameter, but because we use radius, you want to divide just by 2. Of course, that's so 4.5 divided by 2 gives you the 2.25. Copy. I know I probably don't need the calculator to figure that one out, but so we're going to make this one 2.25 millimeters, and then we're going to measure the diameter of the top part. And that is 6.5 millimeters, so that's 3.25. And then, of course, this is just 1.5 millimeters high. And then because this is 12.5 millimeters in width, we want to move the cone to 6.25 in Y. And then we'll measure from corner to the middle of the hole on it is 12.52. So we want this to be 12.5. And then what we're going to do is we're going to copy that cone. Control C, Control V, and instead of it being 12.5 on the X, we're going to go 0, and then we're going to go 12.5 in the Z, and then we need to flip it, rotate it, so we're going to change the X to Y. Don't ask me why. Well, that's because we need to turn it on the Y 90 degrees, so that we're cutting so it fits that. Okay, and so then we're going to take our original cut here, we're going to take a cone, cut that, and we're going to take this cut that, and now we have to figure out what the radius is for the fillets we're going to add. So I'm going to measure, that one looks like it's about 2, no, it's really 4. I think we'll just go 2 on each of those. You want to select the line that's in the middle. I'm using Alt to move it around. Press Control, select that one. Then we're going to fillet those. And we're going to say 2. And OK. And there's the part done up in the part workbench. Really simple. But now we're going to go over and switch over to how to do the same thing in the part design workbench. So I'm going to hide that fillet. And I'm going to go over to part design. And I'm going to start a sketch. And we want the sketch to be on the XZ plane. Zoom in here. And what we could do is we could do just 2 boxes. We're going to take this and we're going to pin it to that axis. We'll make these 2 same point. Oops. Now, maybe not. Control Z. Sorry. Attach this one, this one, and hopefully we can cut. Sorry, I don't know what. No, I don't want to fit the whole one. No, oh. Alright, now we can start doing the real work. I'm actually wondering if I should just delete that one and make this one go there. Good. Now, the thickness again was 1.5 millimeters. And 20.5 was it? Just a second. 19.5. Okay, so this one. 19.5. 19.5. And that's the basic angle. Then we're going to come in here and we're going to change these. Something happened there. Something wasn't connected to something. It shouldn't have a line like that. Okay, this is supposed to be connected to that. For some reason it's not. There we go. And because this is at the origin, I shouldn't have made it at the origin. Once it gets pinned to the origin, you gotta go back in and figure out where the constraint is and which one it is. It doesn't want to do that. keep forgetting it. Great. Now it's all broken up. No, it's still stuck there. That's something I keep forgetting about. It's all broken up. While the origin may be fun and great at times, there are times when you try and do something like what I'm doing right now, and it can drive you nuts. Oops. When you pin things to it, it doesn't want to move. Let's see if I can change this back to 19.5. For some reason, it broke them all. So, what I'm going to do now, not the fillet there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back in and change so I make sure I keep my 19.5 distance. Okay. Move that over here. And then do the same sort of thing from here to here. Okay. And then I'm going to click the radius, and change that to 2, so it's back to the same as the other one was. Change the radius to the both fillet parts to 2. Okay, and then I can take and pin this back here to the origin, well, not the origin, but the z-axis. That way. Okay, so that is the basic shape. And we'll close that. It's now fully constrained sketch. And then what we can do is we can use the pad tool to make it the 12.5 wide, 12.5 millimeters. And, we're going to reverse it so that instead of it coming towards us, it's going away from us, so that it will match where the other one was. So I'll say OK. Now if I switch over to 3D view, it's pretty much the same shape. In this case though, we're going to create our holes the same size as the smaller hole. So we're going to do the 4.5 millimeter holes and it's so I'm selecting this one first, that face. We want that face. And we're going to say a sketch. Create a sketch. And we're going to zoom down and go down a couple. We're going to use the circle tool. Just draw a circle there. Escape. Click on that. 2.25, right? 2.25. And say OK. And then that was 6.25 millimeters from here to here. .25. Say OK. And then that was 11.5 millimeters from the other axis. And we're going to say close. And what we're going to do is do the same thing here to this one. Well, first probably go ahead and pocket the sketch. And because it's not very big, we can leave it just like that. Say OK. If you wanted to, you would say through all. It doesn't really change it in this case. Say OK. Then we're going to do the same thing here. Click this face. Create a sketch. Create a circle. Space. Select the circle. 2.25. And then 11.5 from that one, and 6.25 from the other. And say close. Pocket that one. Okay. Now this is the tricky part about trying to, because you don't have just a cone that you can measure both of them. You want to try to figure out how much the full of the chamfer. We're going to use a chamfer to create the little down parts. So let's say we had, correct, let's say the original hole, the outside part will be 6.5, right? 6.5, and the internal part was 4.5, so we're going to subtract 4.5. So you got a 2. That means your chamfer probably should be divide that by 2 equals 1. So it'll be 1 millimeter chamfer. So click this circle here, and this edge here. So we've got both of those edges. We're going to chamfer that. and the default is 1, so we'll say OK. Now, in FreeCAD, you can't go all the way to the other edge. You can't make it to 1.5. So if you really wanted to make it a little bit bigger, you go maybe 1.4. That way it's really close. It's not all the way across. You go all the way to it. And so what we're going to do is bring up the other one, and then I'm going to move it. Huh. Why is one shorter than the other? Maybe I have my numbers wrong. Maybe I thought almost 20. Or are they in a different position? No, they're pretty much. Oh, okay. I said 19.5 on the one, and I need these 19. Okay. So now they're now they're the same, pretty much. So you can decide which way you would rather try to design your parts. They pretty much are equal now. But that's the two different methods to try to. Oops. Well, except for looks like that's just a glitch in the video. Okay. So as you can see, they're pretty much equal. Thank you for watching, and maybe this will help some of you that are using FreeCAD to decide which way you want to model your parts. Bye bye.